What's up? What's up? Welcome to another episode of Clapback Culture. I'm your girl, Jules Jessie, alongside my co-host, JC from the OVT. What's up, JC?
What up? What up? What up? What up? How you doing? How you doing tonight,
What's up?
guys?
It's nice to see you during the week and not just on Thursdays.
Right? Is this? Because we did have a meeting. Yes, and it was a Tuesday, wasn't it? Or
It was,
Wednesday?
it was yesterday. You forgot. You know
It
what?
was yesterday. Oh,
That
sure.
was
Just missed it.
yesterday. And here I more special and things like that. And you're like, when was that? Oh.
Listen, blame it on the heart and not the head. I've traveled across the country since then. I'm back in Atlanta.
Blame it on my head, not my heart. That's
Yeah, right.
you know what
Blame.
we all the things, all the things get you adjusted and all of that. Um, Listen, you guys, we have a great show in store for you. I mentioned the conversation that I had with JC this week because he had some funny commentary because we were actually online chatting with each other the moment that we found out about this Atlanta shooting. Okay. So, JC, this is in your neck of the woods. Clearly, there was a shooter on the loose. The suspect actually shot up a medical facility and killed one woman, injured, I think, about five. He was in the facility. He was at the medical center with his mother, who had an appointment, and then went to a different area in the building and then just started shooting people with a handgun. What do you know about this, JC?
I know that I left Atlanta for 16 hours and all hell broke loose. And so I should probably stay here more often. But I'm getting conflicting reports. I wasn't sure whether some people have said that he shot his mother first before he shot anyone else, or was she not harmed?
I heard that he did not shoot his mother.
Okay. That's why I say conflicting reports. I'm not sure. But it's kind of crazy because we were, like you said, we were on the phone. We were all on the call, me, you, and Besa. And to just hear that, my immediate thought was, I know white people that went and shot up Atlanta. Like, not that it's too many
Oh,
people. Like, too many. It's too many of us, and we got guns and we shoot back.
right.
But then, to my surprise, I open and see a Negro, and I said, "Oh,
It was one of us.
that escalated quickly." And
When I saw, because unfortunately, what we do as Black people, if you guys didn't know this, and maybe other cultures do the same thing, but we hold our breath until the image is released, so we can see what the shooter looks like, right, or what the suspect looks like. And we're always like, let's see if it fits that description. And so here, what I can tell you is that gun violence, it has no age, no shape, no form, no color, no gender identity. Gun violence is each and every person that decides to do it one day. And it seems like it doesn't have an economic status. At this point, we have got to start doing something about gun violence. It is ravaging the United States of America. I was looking at the reports about Title 42 and these people, fleeing their home countries to come to the United States. And then and a part of me is just thinking like, damn, why would you want to come here? Obviously you're
I say
leaving.
that all the time.
I'm like,
I'm
why
like,
would you
"You
want
wanna
to come
come
here?
here?"
Right. And of course, let me not sound too privileged, because I do or let me not sound like I don't sit in a position of privilege, because being an American, we do have a lot of privileges than other areas in the world. However, it's just like the fact that we fail as a government to address gun violence, the fact that we're failing as a community in the grassroots level to address gun violence, it's crazy. I mean, we're seeing it in the neighborhoods. We're seeing it. You're not safe at school. You're not safe at the hospital.
Nope.
You're not safe at the bank. You're not safe in obviously the doctor's appointment. You're not safe anywhere. You're not safe as a 12-year-old kid outside riding the bike. And there it's unbelievable that we're still having these conversations around gun violence. I watched an interview JC, on the report that we did on the shooter who shot up the bank. And it was the parents who were saying, not only did he have a mental health diagnosis and he was seeking treatment, he was on paperwork and he was still able to go get a gun. And 24
Exactly.
hours later, he shot up the bank, killed innocent people. As parents, they sat there and said, we should have been more extraordinary in order to save our son. Can you imagine that during Easter weekend, he was there doing an Easter roll with the kids, having a great time. They had an abundance of family around. And the next morning he gets up and shoots up a bank. They had no clue. They had no vast idea. And so this is bigger than mental health. It's bigger than race, color, demographic, economic status. It's bigger than everything. It's bigger than us. And we have got to figure out a solution now.
Gun violence in America is definitely an epidemic. It's a unique epidemic that we suffer from. And I don't really know how to make old white men care about everyone else over their money. Like I have nothing. I don't know. We've tried all the things. We've protested, we've marched. People have even come to Congress and tried to shoot that up, and they still are like, no, guns are okay. And so I don't know. Yeah, I have no more things. I have no things, nothing else to give for this. I'm just like, I don't know what it takes for old white men to value everyone's lives, including their own, over their profits. That's all I got. I don't got nothing else.
I mean, here we are. Every week we're reporting on a mass shooting. Like every single week we're reporting on a mass shooting. Y'all tap into the comments. Let us know that you're here, you're with us, you're watching. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. I've got a clip. This was going viral, JC, and I wanted to talk to you about this. There was a middle school student who addressed the State Board of Education about him wearing a political referenced T-shirt. Let's take a look at the clip. We'll come back and we'll have a conversation about it.
I was told that people were complaining about the words on my shirt, that my shirt was making some students feel unsafe. Yes, words on a shirt made people feel unsafe. They told me that I wasn't in trouble, but it sure felt like I was. I was told that I would need to remove my shirt before I could return to class. When I nicely told them that I didn't want to do that, they called my father. Thankfully, my dad supported my decisions and came to pick me up. What did my shirt say? 5 simple words. There are only 2 genders. Nothing harmful, nothing threatening, just a statement I believe to be a fact. I have been told that my shirt was targeting a protected class. Who is this protected class? Are their feelings more important than my rights? I don't complain when I see pride flags and diversity posters hung throughout the school. Do you know why? Because others have a right to their beliefs just as I do. Not one person, staff, or student told me that they were bothered by what I was wearing. Actually, just the opposite. Several kids told me that they supported my actions and that they wanted one too.
All right, so that was a part of the clip of him reading a letter. He's a 12-year-old middle school student out of Massachusetts. So what are your thoughts on this? So he's wearing a T-shirt that says there are only 2 genders. Does teachers pull him out of class and tell him that people are affected by his T-shirt? He needs to take it off and then he can return back to class. Then he says that he refused to take the T-shirt off. He didn't feel that he needed to be silenced in a sense, and that he has freedom of speech. He feels like he should be able to wear what he wants to wear, and that who is this protected class of people? Do you think the school officials acted in fairness? What's your take? Better yet, what's your take?
I have questions surrounding. So this reminds me kind of sort of that interview that Toni Morrison did, and she was talking with some white lady interviewer, and the interviewer asked her, "Are you ever going to write books about white people, and Tony's response was, "Do you have any idea how privileged you are to sit up here and ask me that question?" And I relate it back to this in a way that it's just like, privilege is this little boy saying that transgender people have more rights than he does as a white man. And actually believing that, right? Because if people in protected classes had the same privileges that people in non-protected classes have, then they wouldn't need to be protected. And so I can't be mad at a 12-year-old for repeating or regurgitating things that he hears inside of his household.
Mm-hmm.
But I have like, what are we teaching the kids, man? Like I don't know, gender is a social construct. And so my question would be, do you even understand, 12-year-old boy, what a social construct actually is and how that construct was created to benefit a person like you to wear the shirt that you wore, or the statement that was on the shirt that you wore? Like, do you understand like how all of that happened all at once? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Because I don't want to admonish someone when I don't think you clearly understand what's happening. Like, again, you're 12. So I'm like, I'm not going to get down on a 12-year-old. I just have questions.
I think this is where sometimes I listen to Candace Owens and I'm like, in her craziness, she has a point. I think for me, I think it's important that if we're going to let one person, well, there's two things, right? There's a side of the argument where people are saying gender is biological. And there's a side of an argument that says gender is a social construct.
Correct.
And then the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? I'm always of the agreement to say, you can believe what you believe. I can believe what I believe. I can experience what I experience. And I don't have to question how that is. I can show, but we must have respect, right? That we must have. And so as I'm listening to this 12-year-old boy, I love your perspective because it made me think about, he is growing up as a 12-year-old white man. He's going to grow up and be a 12-year-old white male of privilege, right? He has that inherited privilege. And so outside of him discussing this protected class, I think about the administration and say, if we ban one, we must ban all. And that means if someone had a Black Lives Matter t-shirt on or a MAGA hat, right? Because gender now is politicized, I would say if you're going to ban one, you must ban all. And maybe school no longer is the place to have and experience your political views. I think it's also important that if he is going to wear it, then everyone should be able to wear it. Now, hate speech is something totally different. Now, if this is going to be classified as hate speech, that's one thing. But if it is political awareness, if it's social awareness, if someone had on LGBT paraphernalia, if somebody had on rights for Native Americans, whatever the case may be, anything someone has on can be found offensive, right? If I find offense in it. But I think we teeter such a slippery slope, because if we ban his and we say we don't want that, then what happens when it's something that we want to be able to promote and wear? What if I said, what if my teacher said there's no one gender, right? And someone felt offended by that. Should he then have been taken out of class? So I'm saying we straddle that fine line and saying it's not a matter of right and wrong. It's a matter of, is he allowed to have this freedom of speech?
I think the pushback to your statement is that when we say things like this, or okay, if you say that there is only two genders, right? then people that don't identify with those two genders are automatically erased by your statement. The purpose of saying Black Lives Matter is because we're drawing attention to the fact that Black lives actually don't matter in this country and largely across the world. So
Right.
statements that
Well, go ahead,
are
go
so
ahead.
state well hold on. So statements that are inherently reductive, either actively or passively, should be in some form or fashion policed. Because at the end of the day, whatever your personal feelings are on gender, I don't understand what you lose to just acknowledge a person's humanity. Like, how does that hurt you? What do you lose in that? Is my question. Like, why is it so hard for a person to understand that a person is a person and may not want to or feel comfortable identifying with the labels that other people put on them?
Well,
That's always my question in these things.
I want you to just, and this doesn't mean this is my opinion, but I'm saying
Mhm.
for me, I always like to look at both sides of the argument. What if something being reductive is perspective, right? If my perspective is that no, if my belief is that no, there are only two genders and you cannot convince me otherwise, am I wrong? Then it's not reductive to me because it's not my belief. I don't believe in it. It's just like if if I don't believe in God, I don't believe in God. So if I wore a t-shirt that said I don't believe there, God is not real. There is no God.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
But
reductive?
no,
Someone who thinks that Jesus is their Lord and Savior?
it's absolutely not reductive. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if I wear a shirt that says God is not real, no one actually suffers. Like, God
But
doesn't
that's not
suffer.
true.
No,
But
that is very
that's
true.
not true.
Because that's very true. Because it's like, this is how we think about whether things are real or imagined, or whether things are like a
If no
social
one,
construct or in real life. No
but
one's suffering. If I say that God is not real, there is no physical pain that you will feel from that. You're not gonna keel over and die. You're not gonna have a heart attack. No one's gonna pop like nobody suffers any actual physical harm for that.
well,
If
pause.
somebody
But
wears a
that's not
shirt that
true.
says,
That's not true. And if I am a Bible toting person and I'm reading the book of Revelations, if you say God is not real and you don't confess that with your whole heart, you are going to physically be left here on earth to be dead in
that is
hell.
a belief, and the difference in
But
between
that's
a
what I'm
belief
saying.
and
But
a
that's what I'm
fact.
saying.
No.
Think
But the
about
difference in
and
between
think
a
about
belief
this. Think
and a
about
fact
how
is one is real and one isn't.
but
One is
real and
tangible and one isn't.
but for something to be real means people have to believe it. That's my point.
I am sitting here talking to you right now. Do you believe in my existence because you believe in my existence, or do you believe in my existence because you actually see and hear me talking to you?
I mean, yes, of course. I do. Of
No, which
course I
one? No,
do.
which one? That was a one or two question. Like,
I
why?
believe it because I see you. I know I because there's even though I can't touch you, I see you and I hear you. So my sense is
Right.
that you are real, you are here.
Right. And so a belief is a thing that you believe beyond the actual tangible proof of such, because that is the
Correct.
actual definition of a belief.
Correct.
The whole point of my statement is, if if a statement harms someone or can cause actual physical tangible harm to someone, then that statement is inherently reductive. Point blank, period. Because there are real people or real things that suffer, right? Me wearing a shirt that says God doesn't exist, no one is going to actually die. Your feelings may be hurt.
Except that
Your
Jesus
feelings
was
may be hurt.
crucified.
Your feelings
Except
may
that
be hurt.
Jesus was actually crucified. And so
There is
that
a large amount of evidence that proves that Jesus actually did not even exist. So what I'm saying
but
to you
this is
is,
what I'm saying.
no one is alive. No one was or is alive to see
No,
Jesus
but you
actually
can't.
hang on the cross. However, if I say something reductive, Like there are only two genders, and someone takes that and runs with it and then decides to cause harm to another individual because they do not fit in a binary of boy or girl, that is actually harmful. That is
But
actually
don't you think that takes it a step further? Because then where does freedom of speech live in that, right? And so we'll wrap it up. I'll give you the final thought, but how do we say we're inclusive if I can't feel away and you can't feel away?
Again, feelings are feelings, but facts are facts. And so,
but if my facts
speaking,
are not your facts,
no, a fact is a fact. That's the thing. And that's the thing I hate about Trump and this whole fake news thing is that with Trump, for some odd reason, facts became things that were debatable, not things that we have all known and accepted to be true. And so it's like
that's where we live.
a factual, scientific, can be proven point: male, female, intersex. Those
What if
are
I don't
the
believe?
only
What if I
three
don't believe in science?
sexes. Huh?
What if I don't believe in science? I mean, people still think the world
Again,
is
a
real.
belief.
You see what I'm saying?
Again, a belief is something that exists. A belief is objective. No, excuse
Okay.
me. A belief is subjective. A
Subjective.
fact is objective. I don't have to believe in your God for your God to exist to you. However, you not believing in my existence could somehow lead and cause to me not being here, right? Because when we take things out of a real world perspective and put it into the imaginary, then people just the dehumanization of people is how we got slavery, is how we get human trafficking, is how we get a whole bunch of things because people are saying that these people are lesser than, these people are not equal, these people do not have the same rights or soul or whatever else as us. We create these inherent tiers that go number one, number two, number three. Anything below number two is lesser than number one and therefore does not deserve to stand on the same level as me, does not deserve the same rights as me, so on and so forth. And so that's my thing.
I'm gonna make you play this back because you said there's three genders. You said there's male, there's female, and then there's intersex.
Three. I meant to say three. Scientifically speaking, I'm sorry. There's three sexes: male, female, intersex. That's it.
So should he wear a shirt that says there's only three genders?
Yes. Then I wouldn't have anything to say because that's a scientific fact. That's it. Like you could.
But isn't intersex just boy and girl?
Intersex.
So essentially, there's only two.
The old word for intersex was hermaphrodite, which is a person that is born, a human being that is born with both the male and female reproductive organs. Yes.
So maybe
I like words and research and science.
I mean, I think my final thought on this, and we're going to move on. My final thought on this is that we got to be careful about what we shut down because when it comes time for something that we want to be able to speak about, I want to have my First Amendment right. Like, I don't want anybody to shut down what's factual to me, right? Because it doesn't feel good for them, right? Or it makes them feel reductive, as you would say. So, good topic. Let's move forward. Which brings up, this is actually a really good spill in. And so the godfather of AI is warning about technology, is warning about the artificial intelligence technology, you guys. He quit Google and he's saying there's a lot of danger in it. It's interesting that we just kind of talked about this, JC, in terms of a lot of misinformation, because what he is saying is the artificial intelligence, these chat boxes, they're able to like sweep up a mass amount of information at one time. And because they're not biological, right? It's factual. They're not biological.
They are not. They are not.
Because they're not biological. They still don't have a true understanding of how they're able to get all this information and then send it out. And so if this artificial intelligence gets in the hands of like a bad actor or somebody who wishes to do harm, this could really be a detriment to the world as we know it. What are your thoughts on that?
I think we have a long way to go before we get to iRobot status.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We have a long way to go.
But
We
not
can't even just
so much like for chat box. That's like happening now.
right. Well, no, so, and it's funny because I'm reading a book called Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari, who wrote Homo Sapiens, which is like one of my favorite books ever. So like that man is brilliant. But I think, yeah. I mean, he's right. He's not lying. Like, what you want me to like? I mean, privacy, security, all of those things went away when the internet became a thing.
Oh yeah.
And so I guess I don't know the. I think my thing is it's about how much comfort are you willing to give up to be safe, right? Because to be truly safe, if you will, we have to give up a lot of things. These many goddamn computers that we carry around, some of the computers that me and you are talking on, we have to reduce things. And so it's like that reduces our comfortability and our way of life that we have become accustomed to. And so how much are you willing to give up, sacrifice, be uncomfortable with to have that safety to be able to do these things? So I guess, and most people ain't. So I mean, you can sound I guess you can sound the bells and alarms all you want to, but again, we're approaching 1984. That's actually a thing and happening. And then after sometime between 1984, iRobot, and what was the name of that movie with Will Smith?
I thought it was iRobot. Oh no, the one where he had the dog.
Yes.
Wait, what's the name of the Will Smith movie?
We could just say The Last of Us. Yes, somewhere between. It's just the scale that we on. 1984, iRobot, The Last of Us / I Am Legend. Like that's the scale. That's what's going to happen. And so I'm like, how fast are we barreling toward each of these 3 tiers?
Can I just say that with the introduction of artificial intelligence, a couple things happened this week. One, the CEOs of artificial intelligence, Apothic, Google, Microsoft, and a couple other ones that I can't remember their names, they all have to testify for an oversight hearing in front of Congress so that Congress can figure out what the hell is going on. In the midst of that, this guy, the godfather of AI from Google, said, listen, I'm out of here, okay? This is not what we want to do. It's dangerous, and we're treading into a territory that we're not going to be able to control. My initial thoughts on that is like, this is the warning signal, right? This is the person who created it with his team, and he's telling you we're not ready. This is not where we want to dab into. But it's interesting because this past Monday, I had a conversation with my team about Metaverse. And initially when Metaverse was first dropped, about 2 years ago, I couldn't understand why celebrities were purchasing land in the Metaverse and buying and that and all. I couldn't get it. As we sit here and listen to this 12-year-old have a conversation on genders and things like that, this shit is so much bigger than that. It's like we're introducing a whole new entity. We're introducing a non-biological situation into the scene. And so we have bigger fish to fry. And so what I'm thinking about, like, do I want to be like, what side do I want to be on? I just want to be on humanity's side. And to protect humanity means for us to kind of slow down and understand what we're inching into. Movies are real, bro. They don't make movies like I Am Legend and I Am Robot without being somewhere in the cut saying, let's go ahead and just feed them this information little by little so they can get comfortable with the idea when we roll it out.
So at the end of Sapiens, Uval asked the question, it's not about what humanity wants. It's about what humanity wants to want, right? Because the one good thing about religion, even though I said what I said, is that religion has always acted as a moral compass for human beings to know, okay, this is the line that you don't cross. And so in that, it was inherently a gate. and there were people at the gate that kept everyone else at bay. And so now that the line of religion is fastly edging away, the lines between what is ethical and unethical are also blurring, right? And they're getting pushed further and further back. And so my fear is, especially after reading some books and watching some movies and doing all and other things, is that AI isn't the problem. AI is the gateway into a whole bunch of other things, like designer babies, superhumans, genetic modification in such a way that human beings as we know it, sitting up here talking, become obsolete in this new what's the Ghost in the Shell universe. I don't know if you watch anime, but if y'all people that watch anime know what I'm talking about. But you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, okay, here we go again with that. What did I say earlier? Tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Everything that's below level 1 isn't as good as level 1. So now we can create and establish different sorts of laws and boundaries and things to govern these people, because these people are no longer the preferred or chosen people, right? So AI, I don't give about AI. That's cute. I'm thinking ahead 100, maybe not even 100, 150 years, 75 years from now, when people are getting ocular implants or people are getting cybernetic whatever else, and it's like, oh, I mean, you can't even be a real OG because you ain't even got, magic eyeballs. You can't even see through walls, my G. How would you, like, you understand what I'm saying? Like,
well on
it creates it creates a whole separate class of people, because now we have capitalism coming in. Okay, so the richest people are going to be able to get the best modifications, and so now we are inherently. Go ahead.
What's the movie with the man, Will Smith? You know what? I just had this thought. I was gonna say, what's the movie with Will Smith where he does the button, babe? What's the Will Smith movie? Men in Black, child. The world is gonna be like Men in Black. You know what? We're gonna move on from this. I'm laughing because I'm strolling through the comments and I just see Cuddy saying, "What's the girl? How do we classify the girl with two vaginas?" So the world is bigger than women with two vaginas. And
my response was a superwoman, and I was just being stupid. She's once, right. Twice, 3 times a lady. All right, cool. Sorry.
That was a good one. All right, look, you guys, let's take a quick break. But when we come back, we have a special guest in the building. We have Farah Akbar joining us. She is going to help us break down everything from the Met Gala 2023 honoring Karl Lagerfeld. Stay tuned. You're watching Clapback Culture.
COVID-19 hurt my income, my health, and my family. We were about to lose our home when we heard we might be eligible for homeowner assistance funds from the government. We called 1-877-894-HOME, and a housing counselor stepped in. They talked to our lender and saved our home. Because falling on hard times does not have to mean losing your home. Federal funding details at washingtonhaf.org.
Basically, fam, believe in giving. Like, we have to be willing to give more, and people seem to always think giving means money, but nah, bro. It's like you can give time, you can give understanding, you can give access, you can give a listening ear and an open heart. You can give and share your God-given gifts and talents, but you just got to give.
What's up, everybody? You know, me and Besa, my girl, we had to pull up to Market Street Shoes once again, y'all.
And you know, we do this every season. We have to get the new shoes, the new boots, and this time I even got a coat.
Yeah, no, you did walk in without a coat.
I'm
glad you found one. But their boots were on point.
Yes, the boots, the bags. I even grabbed a flannel.
Yeah, you did. You know, and I was able to get some hats and everything. I was really impressed.
And I was impressed because, of course, I got those white boots that you guys see me wearing everywhere these days.
Yeah, no, I look at your white boots and I'm like, darn it, they only have one pair. Me and Basic wear the same size. Of course, every time we walk out with several bags in hand.
Several bags and sometimes even a backpack, you guys. Make sure you check out Market Street Shoes.
Yeah, please check them out. Where they go, Basa?
Ooh, 2232 Northwest Market Street, Seattle, Washington.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Clapback Culture. If you haven't already, please share the stream. Let everybody know what's going on. Share the stream. All right, you guys. Like we said before, we got Farah Akbar coming on in. Let's go ahead and bring her in. All right, she's gonna come in and talk to us. Hey, girl. Hey. She's going to come in and talk to us about the Met Gala 2023, paying homage to Karl Lagerfeld. What's up, Farah? How are you today? The fashion ninja.
Yeah, that was brief intro. I've been in fashion for 16 years. And I used to be an editor, and I used to cover New York Fashion Week. And that was my name. So like no one knew my government. It was just like fashion ninja, so I was like, when Jessie invited me, I was like, oh well, this is an appropriate time to use it. But I'm actually in I'm actually in a program right now, and I'm pivoting into fashion law. So it was interesting listening to your conversations before, and we talked actually a lot about things you were talking about, like on the legal end, and in regards to like sumptuary clothing, gender, what should a woman, or it seems like the pushback is like really like what men are wearing, because men are wearing dresses, things like that, and even like with like a statement like that there's only two genders, and like how do these things place, even in regards to AI. I'm taking a securities class right now, and blockchain securities class, which is pretty much like the regulation in, and it seems like it really boils down to like how is it going to be regulated, because that's probably going to be the bigger thing. Mr. AI Godfather, like you created this is obviously a PR stunt. Like he might have a consultancy next year. This,
Very interesting point, and thank you for adding that. I thought about that too. That he's going away. He's leaving Google, but he's
this is like resignation letter, but why?
Right. Let me just preface it. I was gonna say, just let me preface it. Me and Farah have known each other for a little while now, and we talk and joke and laugh about all the things. And so when we were, me and Jules and Besa were discussing the Met Gala. I was like, yo, I'm gonna call Farah because she be knowing about fashion and shit. So I'm like, yo, she know all the stuff. So like, she be telling me
I don't. We don't. We are. So we're going to turn it over to you. I have a bunch of overlays. So we got the looks from a couple people. We want to know what's going on. So if you can see the screen, Farah, we got our girl Kiki Palmer right here to the left. I mean, she's looking good as hell. She just had that baby. She's looking voluptuous. I'm loving everything about her look. Tell us, what should we be looking here? I mean, I know JC loves Janelle Monáe.
No, what do you mean by like what you should be looking at? Like, what do you mean precisely?
So in terms of the theme, so do you feel like these fit the theme? Like, obviously, some are better than the other. Janelle Monáe, I don't get the concept that she was going for. This is right over my head.
Sure. So, I mean, Karl Lagerfeld. Okay, so the Met Gala happens annually because it's pretty much a fundraiser for the fashion exhibition at the Met. And it wasn't Anna Wintour, but it was like another creative director, someone pre Anna Wintour, who made it popular and then who made it like a thing. Anna Wintour made it like this, this thing. It's more than like people are following, but 16 years in the industry, I generally have noticed that, if you're not in it, nobody really knows what they're looking at or what's going on.
And that's where we are.
So what, the whole black and white thing is, that was his outfit for like 100 years. And but he was a creative director. He worked with Chanel, and Fendi, and Chloe. And so generally people associate him with Chanel, even though he, from what I've gathered, even though he worked with Fendi for like longer, and I didn't even realize he worked with Chloe. And so people were interpreting that in a lot of ways. So Janelle Monáe's look for me was actually kind of interesting because it was sort of like this
and hips and body.
Yeah, not the outburst. Okay. All right. Like
well, it was legs and hips and body. It was just
it was. I wasn't prepared for that swimsuit, but it was an exaggerated version of something Karl Lagerfeld would have worn.
Let's take a look at some couples. So we had Diddy and Carisha, please. Let's put them up. I thought they looked stunning. The roses, Diddy to me with the shades and everything, I feel like he, and the gloves, of course, I think he hit it right on point. And I love this couple for whatever reason. It's Young Miami just gives him that boost that he needs right now in his life. What do you guys think about this? They got the matching opal rings or black diamonds, that probably is. And then of course the pearls, like I see that is something that a lot of people are wearing is the pearls. Give us another one, Cuddy. Okay, JC,
this was dope.
Boy. This was dope. This is Jeremy Pope. Crushed it. All those stairs.
Who is Jeremy Pope?
He is an actor.
Oh.
Yeah, he's an actor.
It's interesting. I don't know things.
He's an actor. He was just recognized he just got a GLAAD award for a film that came out called Inspection. And it was about gay men having to hide their sexuality when they're in the military, and he was fighting to be a Marine. Such a good film. Jeremy Pope is breaking stuff down. Let's take a look at another one. Cuddy, my faves, Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. Rihanna was.
I have confusion.
Okay. He's giving Karl all day long.
Would Karl have worn jeans with a kilt and 8 belts and some bedazzled jeans?
He did wear something like that at some point. This actually wasn't one of my favorites. Rihanna's she's a centerpiece. She's a Met Gala centerpiece, but I don't know. I didn't get it. I got it. The flowers. It's very. The flowers are very Chanel, and the white. It's like black and white stuff. Like I had the opportunity to go to their office recently here in New York, and we met like the legal team, and like literally everything was black and white. The bathroom was black. And so
I love a black bathroom.
Yeah, like it was chic. They stick to that. I didn't like it. I it's but when
You don't listen. Don't filter your views on here. You just better say it. You see, we don't.
Say what you
I
say.
don't like it.
Yeah,
They
I
say
mean, like,
it took
the
30
flowers,
hours
the
to do those
pearls,
flowers.
the black and white are just indicative of Chanel.
Okay.
The outfit, I think I saw somewhere one time he started wearing that, like he got skinny. He got skinny doing all these like fad diets, and then he started wearing women's jeans, and because he was so skinny, and but it was like like new skinnies, like they just start wearing tight things. So it was that was what
Not
was
new
going on at that
skinnies.
point.
I just caught what you said. New skinnies. Oh, the newly skinned. All right.
All right, we got a couple more looks. Let's throw them up there, Cuddy.
My favorite.
The champion of the night, honey.
My
This
favorite.
is. I actually had no idea who this was, and so I had to look it up. But when I have no idea who this is, I'm probably late to the party. Who is this, Jessie?
That was yesterday. That is Michaela. That is the Michaela Cole. That is, whew. Like she just out here looking like the Holy Grail. Just the constellations.
She
just
looks
like
amazing.
Whew. Like, I mean, my favorite look of the night, just with the straight backs, baby hairs laid, the face, what flaw? Like, what flaw? Like, this woman right here.
The straight backs is making a comeback. That's what I got underneath this hat right now. But my edges ain't laid, y'all. But you see the straight backs in here. The stitch braids is coming through. I actually hated that she didn't have stitch braids and that I hated that they weren't knotless, but I also saw that she was bald. So I was like, damn, well, how'd they pull that off?
What is a stitch braid?
Child, we'll talk about that offline.
I'll Google it.
You'll Google it. If you're into braids, you'll know. But listen, Kardashians coming through. To be honest with you, I'm always pretty critical of the Kardashians, but I really loved Kylie's look because that train turned into a jacket. And I think it's the dress is gorgeous. I don't like Kendall's look, and I really don't care for Kim's either. No thoughts from either one of you guys.
I like Kim's look.
Go ahead.
That was it. That's all.
I didn't. Yeah, Kim. I mean, the pearls again. That's very, and even like the black and white thing. Chanel's little black dress is one of those signature things, and it was inspired by she was an orphan, and she was in this Catholic orphanage. So the little black dress is actually inspired by. No, it wasn't the orphan. It wasn't the nuns. It was the maids. So that's where that look is coming from. I didn't really get the sleeves, or even Kylie's, red blue thing. I didn't know what she was going for, where that, what it referenced. I think sometimes the Kardashians just wear things, and I don't know how much thought in relation to the actual theme that they put into these outfits. But that's
awesome. Do we have any more, Cuddy? I don't remember if we did. Okay,
says no.
That's it. So Met Gala, for all you guys who know, I saw one clip. Lizzo was like, they don't got no place to sit down. They don't got no food. They don't got no drinks. And so I'm glad to know it was a fundraiser because I had no idea what the Met Gala was. I just knew it was, Oh, no, wait a minute. We have one more. We didn't get to see Lil Nas X because I wanted to go in on that.
Oh, Lil Nas X. Okay.
He looked absolutely ridiculous. And I Lil Nas X,
I don't.
He's so annoying to me because I feel like he does everything for clickbait. Nothing seems genuine about the things that he does. And so this outfit, a lot of people,
there's a child of the internet.
Yeah, that's exactly. And it's like, I just don't get that generation when they do stuff like that. It's so like, here we go again.
I thought it was, I thought Lil Nas X's version of a diamond naked Barbie. I was like, okay.
He was a cat.
I wouldn't do
Karl Lagerfeld's cat.
Oh, he was a cat. Okay, so that's what him and Deja Vu, whatever her name is.
Doja
That's okay. Deja Vu. And so, okay, that makes sense now because I couldn't really understand, but he didn't have a tail. I was just like, okay, so he basically naked and silver with diamonds. I was like, now, from what I know of the Met Gala, this fits the theme. Like, the more outrageous you are, the more camp you are, the more on theme you are.
I
But
didn't
that
feel
also
like
confused me.
camp, though. I felt like I just feel like the body paint, the thong, and it just was the face makeup I thought was really like creative. But I would have
Mhm.
loved to see him wear more clothes, number one. Because
Why?
for what? Like, why do you always have your ass out? Like, that's not an outfit. I want to see your outfit. I don't want to see your ass.
So you want to see his style.
Yes, I don't want to see your body. I want to see something artistic. I feel like Little Nas X, his last few costumes are always with just his body out. He either has on a leotard or bikini bottoms or a thong, and then that's it, and some boots. He's not giving, like, it's the same look over and over again. You don't think so?
I mean,
Wore them corny suits, them corny cowboy suits over and over and over again when he was first came out. Then he was given some looks, he had some outfits, and then now he's just naked all the time.
I would have to Google stuff because I don't follow Lil Nas X like that. I don't really use the internet. I'm trying to get better at it. Wait,
Boy.
Farrah, what you got?
I think it's interesting, like how certain musicians get into fashion. I mean, I actually went to the Coach show in September, and he was in it, and I was like, oh, okay. So I mean, I guess he's like an endorser or spokesperson or something for Coach now. I gather that there's this style might be some sort of like something that is kind of almost like kind of gay clubbish, but it's mainstream.
It's very shock
And
value. Like
yeah, I mean, I
it
guess I
gives
don't know,
white. It gives white
shocking
twink.
'cause
It
white.
gives
Oh
white
my
twink.
God.
Yeah,
You
I
said
don't
that.
even know what that is, but I mean, I think I don't know. Little Nas X is interesting for a lot of reasons because it's like one day you're a cowboy. He was like, he was doing country music, and then I don't know what kind of music he's doing now, and now he's a child, but he's gay. I just like this is a lot going
He's got
on.
a lot of situations.
But
I
I
will
think
also say.
but
Go ahead. My bad.
I would say that also, but I think it's just something with this like these kids, this generation of 20 somethings. Maybe like as a 36-year-old woman, we kind of laid the foundation for this a little bit because
We
we were
did.
a little bit more
Millennials
fear
did.
and internet.
Millennial. We definitely did.
Just
Yeah, we definitely did.
we did a lot of things, and they grew. They never had any analog, and they just grew up with this, but they also grew up with us. Living in whatever our truths were, and so I think that's this is a result of what we're seeing. So
I
Yeah.
will say he's this. I feel like he's trying to find himself and doing the absolute most in the process. I think my critique comes from my critique on everyone else's critique is like, are we? This is what free black kids look like,
yeah.
right? Because Jaden did this. Willow did this. Like, this is what it meant. If Lil Nas X was white, we wouldn't really care. And I think it hits
We
differently
wouldn't.
for. No, I don't even think white. I don't even. Well, white people would care, but it would be more of one of those things where it's like, again, like white people, the lighter your skin tone is, the closer or more freedom you are given to be yourself, and in the whatever that may be, right? And so I'm just like, if Lil Nas X was even like maybe like Puerto Rican or something, it wouldn't be this big of a deal. But because we have a very dark skinned, very queer, very flamboyantly outspoken kid, there are certain things in place that tells us that these things should not be, right? Subconsciously. And so when we see it, we automatically repel from it. And I'm just like, I catch myself too.
I disagree with that.
Everybody does that. Okay.
I disagree with that because one, Lil Nas X is extremely attractive. He's a very handsome young man. So I think the idea of that he kind of falls in this colorism line is not, I don't think that attributes to him. Lil Nas X also came out into the music scene.
Attractiveness.
Well,
but
yeah,
his attractiveness and his skin tone are two separate things. You can be attractive in light skin.
I think because he is attractive, no one cares about what his skin color is. And I think that he also was successful before he came out being queer. And I think after he came out being queer, he even blew up even more. So
correct.
I don't think it's about, I think Lil Nas is accepted in his totality because he is so over the top, right? I think he's extremely accepted. And to your first point, this is what freedom looks like for him, right? Like he is the quintessential version of the little black boy who gets to come out of the closet and be exactly anything he wants to be. So I think he is the poster child for that. So I don't think there's any backlash because of that. For me, if we're giving him a fashion critique, right? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm giving him a fashion critique. It's obnoxious. Like, I don't see this as giving, but I also don't see the person who dressed up in the cat costume as giving either. I feel like that was like, that's not a look. I want to see a look. When I think about the Met Gala, I'm thinking about.
So how did you feel about Lady Gaga when she wore that? Well, all of Lady Gaga. Yeah.
I don't.
Because for all intents and purposes, Lil Nas X is a child of Lady Gaga.
He's giving very so instead of camp, he's giving very Lady Gaga. That's just not my style. But I think it also, I think Farrah was talking about it with Rihanna. It's kind of the year where she dressed up like a bubble. I was like, I don't really get that. Like, it's not, to me, it missed the mark. I think he is creative enough to do more than just to throw on a thong and some body paint. I think it cheapened his brand, if anything. And I think that he could stand out a lot more. I mean, the boy gave Bantu knots one year. I mean, he can come through with some looks and he can be more versatile. I just think, to your point, like straddling this, like, I think he's playing it safe by, if I just go over the top, then people are just going to say I'm over the top and not creative, as opposed to really putting in some thought and being like, man, let me figure out how I can hit the mark. But maybe Farrah's right. A lot of these artists are coming into the fashion scene and they don't know what they're doing. They're in a whole new territory, just traveling around.
I like that. I like
last
that
point I want to make.
I like that.
I want to make one.
I was just saying I like that.
Last points about that is like, yes, like one, Karl Lagerfeld's cat was its own, like that was like pretty much his kid. Like he had insurance. He had just a lot of stuff. So that was like the reference, everything. And another thing though that came to mind is like, I think to JC's point, you're right that this idea of like free Black children is a relatively new one. Even though, I mean, like we did create rock and all this other stuff where you would see like that alternative person, but thinking about like Lisa Bonet and how her career was ruined because of that one role that was totally different from whatever she was playing on the Cosby. Yes. Right. And then this idea also like in the Harlem Renaissance of the Black artist and the responsibility of the Black artist, and like the way Du Bois in that particular time defined it as you're responsible for working on Black issues. You have to be substantial. It's only white artists that have time to talk about write poems about sleeping under a tree. You know, and so I think that has rolled over 100 years later into, you know, how we talk about our art now. I think that's why BET, you know, for whatever BET's purposes as it is right now, I think that's why they rejected Lil Nas X. And, you know, you're right. I mean, I think it's good that, you know, we do have space for free Black children, you know, the same way.
Oh, dang, we lost Farrah.
We lost her.
We lost
She
her.
was
Well,
in a she was in a vibe too.
I know, and she had her final point. She had a final point. Well, look, JC, we are at the end of our show anyway, so I'll give you last thoughts. JC, when you're not here, where can they find you?
Check me out at JC from the OVT and at the OVT Network. One more time, JC from the OVT and the OVT Network. That's where I be at.
All right. And y'all, I'm Jules Jessie. You know where you can find me. Instagram and Twitter at TreasureofJules. You know what it is. Until then, pull up, follow me. Let me know what you want to talk about next week. And if you want to come to the show, follow up, hit us up right here on Converge. Thanks again for watching. You're watching Clapback Culture. See you next week. Peace.